Yo, 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 yo. Happy hump day in the Earlverse. We're just chilling right now. Thought I would see how the numbers would be in the AM for me. And they're about the same. What up, John Smith? Good morning. Hello, Dr. Nova. This is a rare occasion when I am up this early. But, I can guarantee you there won't be too many Earl verses at this hour of the AM. Where are you, John Smith? I forgot, to be completely honest with you. I am in sunny Los Angeles, Montreal, les habitants. I have, next week, I will have the great Montreal Canadiens, Boston Bruins, New York Ranger enforcer Chris Knuckles Nyland on the Inappropriate Earl podcast. It's set. So I'm very excited about that. I actually got to talk to him. And yeah, we spoke on the phone and he was down. Of course, it was set up by the great hockey reporter in Los Angeles, Dennis Bernstein. So I'm excited. That's the era of hockey that I loved watching. And I'm very familiar with all of his fights. His great rivalry with Larry Playfair and Troy Loney, many others. I have not yet, Dr. Nova. I'm not going to lie and say I've been that busy, but I have not. I will, and I appreciate the timestamps. I just have to carve out a half hour to, check it out. Um, and I will. Just when the inspiration hits me. Yeah, he's got a great podcast where he interviews enforcers from his era. He had a great interview with Larry Playfair, which was actually kind of sad because you could see, what up, Mason? You could see Larry Playfair's, like, I think it was his right arm, like shaking like that. And I don't know if that's early Parkinson's or whatnot, but it was kind of sad. But Larry Playfair was in, a great interview. Like, he's still got his faculties. But I remember I once met Larry Playfair at the Kings practice facility, the shitty one in Culver City. That was a real dungeon. And he was just larger than life to me, 6'4", probably 225, 230, and just big. You could tell he didn't even lift weights. He was just a big guy. So that's I forget what Knuckles Nyland his podcast is called, but check it out if you're a fan of hockey from his era. He had a great interview with Craig Cox. One of the very few players from the 80s that was actually from Southern California. I think Chula Vista. And it's probably, to me, the best hockey podcast out there. So I'm excited to have him on. I really only do Inappropriate Earl when I can get a guest on that I like. So since I don't make a lot of money I don't make any money on the podcast. I just do it when I think it'll be a fun interview for me, and hopefully people like it. But that should get some eyeballs on the inappropriate Earl world. I mean, it's not like Donald Trump or anything, but like maybe I should reach out to Kamala Harris. Um, but I'll guess I'm not high up on her radar. The very first car I drove was Notre Dame High, senior year, September 17th, 1986. No, that would be 1985. Um, was a bright red four-cylinder BMW Model 318i. AC/DC, no, I just was up, and I think Bobby Lashley might debut tonight for AEW Dynamite. So I wanted to, I don't want to say get this out of the way like it's a pain in the ass, but I wanted to watch the show and not stream at the same time. Yeah, it was a very nice car, very slow, but I would say about 1988, I really souped it up to look fast. The back spoiler, auto stickers all over it, um, a bright red grill, square headlights, a bright red steering wheel, um, tinted windows. I mean, it looked like a fucking Ferrari by the time I got through with it. I mean, I would have Porsches and Lamborghinis pull up next to me and want to race. And they had no idea that my car was just a four-cylinder, slow-moving vehicle. I'm not really remembering what that looks like, Dr. Nova. I mean, there were some cool cars in the mid 80s. I mean, I probably had the nicest car in my high school that year. And there were kids with money at I went to Notre Dame High, which is, if you are familiar with the LA area, it's Sherman Oaks on the corner of Riverside and Woodman. And I'm trying to think some of the more famous alumni that have gone there. Rami Malek, I think Giancarlo Stanton, Jack McDowell, Cy Young Award winner. If you're a little older, Tim Foley, the shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Who else? Nigel Miguel, basketball player. Justin Fargas, whose dad, Antonio Fargas, was Huggy Bear on Starsky and Hutch. And Stephen Perkins, the drummer from Jane's Addiction. So it's fairly like celebrity-based high school. Yes, the 318 was pulling a hog, if you know what I'm saying. Well, my mom was a fashionista, but I wasn't very good with the broads back then, so I got by in high school more on being the class clown more than anything else. Earl is up early. It's just rare that I couldn't really sleep. Lois is passed out upstairs. I mean, when she sleeps, she sleeps. So, and there's a busy day in the world of sports. You've got the World Series, you've got AEW Dynamite, you've got the Kings trying to rebound from their horrific loss last night against the worst team in the league, the San Jose Sharks. Tonight they play Vegas in LA. How did you get introduced to the gangbang scene? It's a little early for gangbang talk, to be honest, Dr. Nova. But I just, I ran with a group of friends before I started doing comedy. who ironically got me into comedy. But they were the horniest group of dudes you could ever wish to come across. Let me tell you that right now. I mean, these guys were agents and managers, and if you know anything about that business, you know that you literally are up from say 5 or 6 in the morning because you have to deal with clients in New York and back east and in Europe, and you work till about 6 or 7 p.m. Typically, you'll go to a movie premiere or something of that nature, and then you have to, after drinks, and then you're home at about 11 p.m., midnight, sometimes even later. And you got to get up, 4 hours later and repeat. So, uh, a 5 hour work that week, Monday through Friday, you're working literally close to 100 hours a week. If you're like successful in that field. So on weekends, 48 hours, Saturday and Sunday, they lived 100-hour weekends. So these guys made Dalia and Callan look like virgins. So they were into some freaky deaky type sexual activities. Was the last time you had McDonald's breakfast? I was thinking about that. I think last night when they showed the E. coli outbreak, I used to, when I went to junior college in Santa Monica, I lived in Century City in the Fay Ray building. I would, Century City is, it's kind of a weird area. It's before West LA, kind of right before Beverly Hills. So you're, and I went to SMC, which is in Santa Monica. And there was a McDonald's halfway through, and I would get 2 breakfast sandwiches like every day. Man, so I mean, I probably haven't had McDonald's in 30 years. I would probably get sick if I ate it. Um, so, and I think that, I mean, I don't really, I mean, I guess you would say the last fast food I had was Chick-fil-A. Um, so, I mean, I used to love, like in the mid '80s, at when I was at Notre Dame High, a Big Mac, fries, and a chocolate shake, man. Those chocolate shakes. But I think I would throw up if I ate that stuff now. I eat pretty lean. I mean, probably the worst things I have, or what I just had a few minutes ago, was those protein cookies, because there's so much, carbs and like heaviness in those things. But I was hungry. I mean, I mean, they opened up a Big Mac, and I guess the E. coli came from the onions. And yikes, it just looked bad. Um, I mean, Chick-fil-A, their chicken sandwich is pretty good. I mean, sugar's not that bad if you are fairly active. I mean, sugar's really the first thing you burn off. So, but if you're a little more sedentary, that's when sugar gets you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's. I kind of want to see Shelton Benjamin get a bit of a rub. Um, and then they bring in Lashley. Because if you bring in Lashley too soon, then what do you do with Shelton Benjamin? You've got him, but now I could see tonight. I mean, you could bring him in tonight, Benjamin and Swerve, and then Lashley comes in and costs Swerve the match, and that sets up something for the pay-per-view, which I believe is November. So it's not really till Thanksgiving. That's 3 weeks away. I guess it's not that far. Um, and then you take a little bit of time in those 3 weeks to I mean, obviously, you don't have to build up Lashley too much because I think, most wrestling fans know who he is, but, it's a pretty good time in AEW. But I would also say they gotta be careful in how they do it because Lashley is really the last good free agent that's out there. I mean, he's signed in AEW, everyone knows that, but he's really like the last, "Oh my god, he's here?" Because guys like Seth Rollins and, Roman and Cody and all those guys aren't coming. So I hope that, they bring him in right. I mean, in terms of does he pop a rating? I don't know. I mean, AEW, I think he would increase the ratings, to be honest with you, because you're gonna get WWE fans going, "Oh shit, Bobby Lashley's in AEW, let's check it out." Um, and then you got Adam Cole's back now, Omega's doing something in New Japan Wrestling this Monday. So you gotta figure Omega's coming back at some point, and you could tell the writing has been better. They're kinda building something between Omega and the Elite. I'm gonna assume it'll start with Jack Perry and then maybe end with Omega versus Okada at some point, which they've had some fantastic matches in, New Japan. Um, so I'm not really feeling the Osprey Kyle Fletcher thing just because we all know in real life that Osprey and Fletcher are best friends. So this is when the internet kind of ruins the storyline because they're not fucking fighting. Chick-fil-A, I like Chick-fil-A. I like their fries. I mean, I don't eat it a lot, but um, I love their chicken sandwiches. Of course, I had a bad experience that somehow I got credit card fraud from Chick-fil-A because I started noticing these crazy, uh, rarely go on my Citibank online account and look. For some reason, I went on uh, just let me just check it out. There was like these like probably close to 10 charges on the Chick-fil-A app, which I've never used. And so I was very lucky. So I'll get Chick-fil-A when I do Postmates. Um, but I'll never use my credit card at Chick-fil-A again. Because I used to go to the one on La Brea and Sunset, if you know where that, or is it Highland and Sunset? Um, it's Highland and Sunset. And I asked my cop friend of mine, how do they do that? And he's like, well, the kid taking your order, he could have done it. Or there's a homeless tent city literally right across the street from Chick-fil-A. So 50, not even 50 yards, 50 feet from where you whip out your credit card and they take it, in the drive-through. Uh, and someone could have been in a tent, not homeless, but with one of those credit card readers or whatever, and they could have like somehow gotten it. So who knows? And it could be, what William said, that a new employee could have just jacked it. We know the store is the WWE of comedy clubs. Is AEW the Ice House? That's a very interesting question. Yeah, I would say AEW would be the Ice House because they've got a rich owner, like AEW has a rich owner, and it should be better, but it's not. I mean, the lineups there are pretty bad, to be honest with you. They just, I mean, the last time I did the Ice House, probably about a year ago, everyone was bombing. I went on right before Craig Robinson, and I had a great set. I wasn't killing, but I was having a Very good set. Like, I was locked in. I mean, I was doing so well that employees from, the other room and the kitchen and whatnot, they were coming in to watch, like, "Who is this guy?" And, haven't been asked back since. So, and I was talking to, was it Jim Buss, who's the new owner? And, I don't think he knew I was a Comedy Store, regular, and so he was kinda bad-mouthing the Comedy Store. He was like, "Yeah, I don't want this place to be another Comedy Store," and I was just saying to myself, "Yeah, sold out every night? Yeah, who would want that?" And they built this really nice green room, and, like, I'll give them that, the green room's really fucking nice. It's, like, in right behind, it's in the back, I guess, of the main showroom, but you have a window where you can see the show if you're in the green room, and it's really, really nice. It's like a big living room, and I think they thought, like, LeBron James and the Lakers would go there, after games or whatever, but LeBron James ain't driving to Pasadena after a Laker game. So I think they misfired there. So, um, uh there you go. Yes, I mean, Dr. Nova, the homeless, they're cleaning them up a little bit. I mean, they definitely cleaned up the Venice Boardwalk. I know in West Hollywood, they have a new law. You can't put your tent on the sidewalk. Um, yeah, I mean, I do use gas cards or I credit cards at gas stations, but luckily, I haven't been taken advantage of, and I rarely carry cash on me anymore. Um, Well, the ice house used to be the easiest room in the country. I mean, like it's just like you could bomb there and tape your set and do well. Oh, thank you, Richard. I mean, the dog died 3 years ago. I was just popped up in my Facebook memories, so I wrote a comment going, "I can't believe it's been 3 years," and then I guess it kind of refreshes the feed in front of everyone. But, yeah, I mean, Annie was a great dog, and, me and another person did a great job with taking care of it. What up, Colt C? Well, I mean, I think the ice house is really pretty much, William, just a place where, Jim Buss can hang out with his hose. Um, so, yeah, but that, sidewalk rule has been in place for a couple years now. Um, but, the homeless in West Hollywood, they're everywhere. There's a big park where sometimes I take Lois and, they're all over that park at night. I mean, it's kinda dangerous to walk around at night. Um, and then, they're just like the mole people, they're just sleeping in alleys and, um any public park. There's a couple parks in the West Hollywood area that are like, it's like that scene in Escape from New York when the homeless people are coming out at night. Red Band's Ice House Death Squad Chronicles. Uh, great memories doing those shows. Especially, and it was Friday night. It was a nice drive out there, and it was usually a group of comics that I knew and got along. Um, and I mean, I just remember people smoking so much pot in that podcast room. You'd go out, you'd do your set, you'd come back in the podcast room, and I miss those days. I miss Red Band. He's a good egg. We don't talk that much, but we stay in touch. Um, I think one time when I went to Austin, I stayed at his house. Um, so there was certainly was an era for sure. Um, of I mean, that's right around when I first got passed at the Comedy Store. So I was very, I was in a great mood in those areas. Earl Skakel, Lenny's printer in the house. What up? a longtime friend and internet provocateur, Lenny's Printer. Follow Lenny's Printer. Uh, I mean, I miss the camaraderie back then. It was it seemed like a lot of comics, but it was really just a small group. The it was Red Band, it was Hinchcliffe, Brody, me, Nick Yusuf, Rogan from time to time, George Perez, Sarah Weinshank, Kim Congdon. We all got along. Jason Rouse. So it was it was just a good hang. And then we'd all go rush over to the Comedy Store and hang there, and, it was just a really fun era of my comedy world, and then, Roast Battle was starting to really pop off, so, there's a lot of good things, boy, I saw the judging panel the other night from Roast Battle. Someone took a picture, and, like, we got, open micers as judges now. Well, like, wow. Um, I noticed they didn't have a crowd shot. Um, so, uh, by the way, I'll be at the Comedy Store this Saturday night, closing out the show, 12:15. If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area, come on down. Hit the like button too. Pretty please. And have a good old time at my expense. Put out a few more shorts on YouTube, so check those out. Nothing lasts forever. And we both know hearts can change. Darling, when I hold you, don't you know I feel the pain? Nothing does last forever, unfortunately. But the memories do. And, now I mean, the Ice House, they remodeled it, looks really nice. It's a completely different feel than when Bob Fisher used to own it. It's kind of a brick interior, and now it's like neon and I don't know. It's much more urban than it used to be, which is fine. But I mean, the last time I was there, when I was essentially opening up for Craig Robinson, they had a security guy in the back carrying a gun, and this guy was heckling me, and I had it in under control, but then the security guy starts walking over to the guy, and the guns, very visible, and the crowd was like, "What the fuck?" And then I told the guy, "I got it, man. Don't worry. Thank you, but don't worry about it." So that's not going to end well one day. Earl, have you ever thought of becoming a fat guy for a role? I don't want it that bad. Although I was telling someone last night, I'd be working a lot more if I was like Ralphie May's size, but I'd like to be alive. Um, Rest in peace, Ralphie. Rest in peace. Um, but I'm in that weird, like I'm just a slightly above average looking white dude. Like I'm not fat, I'm not skinny. Um, I'm not like model looking, but I'm not completely grotesque looking either. So it's like that weird, spot. Um, so I'm just planning on my comedy getting me there. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. At 56, the clock is ticking, babies. But I still have fun, So I do the streams. I'm putting my finger in everything, trying to get something going. I noticed my shorts, the stand-up clips have done a little better than normal. So who knows? It's just you never know what's going to hit in the LA comedy world. You know, So, maybe I could be the comic at the next political rally. Go hard in the paint like Tony. So, I mean, you got to give Tony this. He didn't back down. Um, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting. By this time next week, we will know who the president. We will have a new president, one way or the other. Um, and who knows? Maybe we won't even know by this time next week. I mean, they had those 3 ballot boxes, set on fire, and so, how do you work? Do you have those people vote again or whatever? Yeah, he really doesn't. Everyone asks my opinion on Tony because they know I know him, and, he's really and I've said this before on the stream, but there might be some new people in here since we're doing this, a little earlier than, we normally would. Um I think that, he's really almost uncancelable since he doesn't act. He's not in a movie or TV show like Dalia. When Dalia's problems happen, it's like, all right, get him off that Zack Snyder movie, get him off of TV. Fuck this guy, basically. But with Tony, it's like really the only thing you could take away from him is his podcast. And he can't really take that from him. YouTube and Spotify could yank him tomorrow. Um, and he can just do the Alex Jones route of get your own servers and host it yourself. Now that's probably a fair amount of money to do, but I think Kill Tony makes enough where he could do it, and even if he couldn't do it, it's probably some rich super fan. And I know he has a few. Let's just say, listen, I'll fund the servers. You keep the show going. Telling Italians not to make fun of colored people is disrespectful to New Jersey Italian culture. Stugas. Yeah, but DraftKings. I mean, I'm sure that's a couple bucks. For sure. I mean, no one likes losing money, but I mean, he might lose a few sponsors, but I guarantee you, he didn't lose one single fan because the fans who are fans of Tony loved what he did. And the people, like if you turn on MSNBC, which is wild to me that Tony Hinchcliffe is being talked about by Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton wasn't going to go to a Tony concert or a Kill Tony show, so you're not losing anything. I mean, really, whoever hired Tony should be fired. Because I mean, if I would have been consulting the Trump rally, I said you can't have, and it's not Tony, but you can't have a roast comic go on after the fucking national anthem. You got to warm up to roast humor. You just can't, throw a roast comic out there, especially one like Tony, who's going to go hard in the paint right out of the gate. Um, so, it was just like, no, I mean, um, and, I think I would guess that Tony thought, well, I just did this venue 2 months ago and I fucking crushed it. But, those people 2 months ago were Kill Tony and or Tony Hinchcliffe fans, that the people in the route. Now, I've done like 6 Kill Tonys, I think. 2 times I was the Iron Patriot. So if you're a fan of the Kill Tony show, you'll remember the Iron Patriot. And then I think the last 3 or 4 times I was a panelist. And I would say in those 6 shows I did, the demographic for the crowds that were in the belly room, and I think the last show I did was in the main room, probably 18 to 35. And I didn't see a lot of 18-year-olds, so I would say almost 22 to 35. And I would say that a large amount of the people at the rally were not necessarily stand-up fans. They were not Tony fans. They were not Kill Tony fans. They were there for their guy Trump. And I would say the average age, and there were certainly young people there, but was mid-30s and up. So Tony was not set up for success. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, Ryan. Oh, 100% Dr. Nova. I mean, that's why I say Tony didn't lose a single fan. If anything, he gained him because now people are going to hate watch him. And with Tony having wrestling uh, history and knowledge behind him, he's going to lean into it. Like he's like Rick Rude, and he reminded me of Rick Rude in the suit when he came out on Nitro. And how hard can Spanish be afforded? Yeah, we don't do that kind of humor in here, Dominic. What are you trying to get me banned on? What up, Rhino? I believe you're new to the stream. Welcome, welcome. So, I mean, I would love to know uh, what the ratings were for Monday's Kill Tony. I bet you they were an all-time high. So, like Tony will not be hurt by this at all. Yes, we don't go into the dabble world, the dabble land for that kind of potty talk. Really the only thing that could hurt Tony is if Rogan cut him loose for whatever reason. And I don't think that's going to happen, but like if Rogan said, "Hey, bro, no more mothership for you. You're on your own," and but even then he would survive. But like that would definitely hurt him. Um, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think I've heard rumblings of Kill Tony was going to be on after Monday Night Raw on Netflix. I don't know if Netflix necessarily now wants that kind of heat. They got sponsors and shit, which is always the prime concern of, um, it's like, Dalia still plays theaters on the DL, but I don't know if a TV show or movie would take a chance on hiring him again. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying though, like, you know, William, you're right. Um, but there could be a scenario where Tony mouths off to Joe, or they disagree on something so vehemently that Joe's like, "Well, fuck you then." That's probably not going to happen, but listen, I've seen best friends in comedy. Uh, you know, breakup. I mean, look at Danish and O'Neill. If you are fans of them, if you would have said to me a year ago, Danish and O'Neill would not be on speaking terms, um, I'd be like, no way. Those guys are thick as thieves. So you never know. Kill Tony has peaked. The masses have discovered, and it's gotten stale. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of falling into that roast battle, you know, path where the first couple years were great, and then ironically enough, the bigger the show gets, the worse it gets. And then people move on to other stuff. I don't think Kill Tony's going anywhere anytime soon, but I do think that, it's been a minute since it's developed like the new It kid. I mean, first it was Malcolm Hatchet. I mean, when this is when the store or when the show was in the main room, and like people would talk about this Malcolm Hatchet kid, like, oh my god, this guy's the next Chris Rock, he's amazing. And then I don't even know if that guy does comedy anymore. I'm not talking, I don't know him, but I don't see him on any lineups at all. And then you had Wineshank and Congdon, and they have kind of moved on and whatnot. And then you got William Montgomery, David Lucas, and especially Lucas isn't the most well liked guy, so I don't know how long he'll last. Um, and then I know there's a couple others, Hans Kim and all those guys, but the jury's out on them, I guess. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's certainly still a big show, but I think like roast battle. as soon as it got to television, it changed, and it just went down very fast. Um, I mean, I would even say it jumped the shark on my season, which was season 1. I mean, Roast Battle might be the only television show to jump the shark in its first season. Anyone who goes to those Dalia theater shows really should be put on a list and kept 1,000 feet away from schools. I mean, it just goes to show you that clubs, theaters, any venue where you can charge people for money to see a comic, they don't care what he's accused of. It's like, hey, the guy sells out. Put him in here for the weekend. Has Dalia been charged? No, he has not. Um, so, I mean, I think that documentary was pretty damning to him, because uh, he was on tape basically with the one girl trying to be like, "Hey, you gotta delete all of our messages," and it didn't look good. But he has not been charged, so to my knowledge. Uh, yeah, 100% Dominic. I mean, um, and I just, I think any show that's based on it's better when the show's bad. I don't know. I mean, I just, and I don't like piling up on an open micer, with Tony and then, two or three famous comics. I mean, it's not, it would be like watching Barry Bonds hit off of a tee ball, tee. Like, okay. Um, but I understand the allure of the show. I mean, it's a train wreck. It's Jerry Springer meets the Gong Show. Um, and most of these people who are on the show can barely get through 1 minute of comedy. But listen, you can't argue the success of the show. It's filling fucking arenas, man. That's mind blowing to me. 100% Dominic, 100%. Uh, that the name that shall not be uttered should do. Oh, he'd be perfect on Kill Tony because the best. And I don't watch the show a lot, but I don't watch comedy, so um, I would say the best people on Kill Tony are the ones that are getting goofed on, but they don't know it. It's sad, but excuse me. That's kind of uh, the sad, but it's like the Gong Show. It's literally the new Gong Show. Like when those people would go on and uh, they would do their fucking skits for I think it was 1 minute. And you had like the celebrity panel, like J.P. Morgan and Nipsey Russell and all these and Chuck Barris goofing on them, and the poor people didn't realize it, and that's what made the show good. Um, so no, I mean David Lucas is nowhere near as good as Patrice O'Neill. Um, so well, I mean now if they haven't charged D'Elia by now, I don't um, see anything happening to him legally. Um, and I don't know what the statute of limitations are on sexual crimes, but I think in California and New York, which is how Weinstein kind of went down there, you could revisit sexual crimes. I forget the law, but I don't know. Um, well, like when I did, and I never really had a good time on Kill Tony because I would try and give advice because I love stand up. That's why I still do it. So I would be like, hey, you should try that joke this way, and you know, I don't know if you're ready for this show because you couldn't even do 1 minute, and the crowd would be like, but I would mean it in like a nice way, like a fatherly way, and I could tell the crowd was like, we're not here for you to give comedy advice. We want you to shit on this person. I'm like, I don't like really roasting someone who's not capable of hitting me back. Um, but maybe that's why I haven't been invited back. Um, so what's your favorite era of hockey? 80s, the 80s, Queen on I mean, the '80s, were great for hockey because each team literally had 3 to 5 tough guys. So those Nordique Canadian games was jungle hockey. And wrestling, this was before the internet really. So, um, Lois, come here. Um, so you kind of thought it was still real. Like, I've done this joke before in the stream. Um, but it's like you really thought Kamala was from Uganda and Abdullah the Butcher was from the Sudan. But now with the internet, you could go, oh, Abdullah the Butcher's from Windsor, Ontario, and his name is Larry Shreve. Well, look at who's up. Lois is in the building. Um, I hear Lois's little tiny feet. What up, Lois? Lois is chilling. Do you want to come on the stream for a hot minute? Yeah. So, should I pick you up, Lois? Come here. Come here. Okay. All right. She's not having it. Let's see. Earl is a kind God. Well, it's not that I'm a kind God. It's just like I'm not going to shit on some open micer who doesn't even have a minute of comedy. It's just like that's bullying. Um, Now you might say, well, Earl, what was roast battle? 100%. Roast battle was nothing more than skilled and well-timed bullying, and I was good at it. Well, I'm such a comedy fan that I actually would try and give comedy advice, but you know, that's probably why I didn't necessarily always have a good time on Kill Tony. Um, you got to be kidding me. I see what you did there. Were you a fan of the Goon? I know, I thought it was too cartoonish. I didn't really like Slapshot was not cartoonish. Slapshot was a very realistic look at 70s minor league hockey. That's how it was. Um, no, Lois is not a lapdog. To be brutally honest with you, Lois is not the friendliest dog, even to me. But she is a great dog still, and you know, she is still kicking. Yeah, David Lucas is terrible. Well, I wouldn't say he's terrible. Yeah, someone's trying to get me on the Maton show. I just think that the problem with shows like Roast Battle and Kill Tony is that they teach these comics, excuse me, short form comedy. Go on stage, do a minute, maybe banter with Tony and the guests for 3 or 4 minutes, and you get this big pop from the crowd, and you get a following. But then you get asked to headline a club, and you don't have fucking 15 minutes, but you got to do an hour. And when these younger comics, and I don't even mean younger in age. I mean, it's not like David Lucas is that young. He's certainly younger than me, but like I'm not the barometer for what's young in Hollywood. Um, the problem is, with the William Montgomerys, the Hans Kims of the world, is they don't have a lot of time. So, you've got maybe a good 15 minutes, and you got to figure when you're headlining, you're going to be pretty nervous. You're going to speed through those 15 minutes in about 6 to 7 minutes. And then you got to be up there for another 54 minutes. And there's only so much crowd work you can do. And if the crowd work goes south, most of those, if not all of those comics, they don't have like a fallback line. Like I have probably 10 lines I can use at my beck and call um, when a joke bombs or I've lost the room that will almost guarantee I can get the room back. Those guys don't have one or girls. So that's where it gets a little tricky. Yeah, I mean, you can be a Kill Tony star if you chop off an arm. Uh, what was it, the Cutting Edge? I like that movie. I did like that movie with DB Sweeney, Moira Kelly, who I had a huge crush on, and I think, I mean, some of my favorite hockey movies, non that are not called Slapshot, was what was it? Lynn Holly Johnson and Robbie Benson, Ice Capades, was it? That's a great. Not it's not necessarily a hockey movie because it's more about Lynn Holly Johnson losing her sight, and um, she learns to skate blind. Um, but in the movie, Robbie Benson was a hockey player. Yeah, she was beautiful then, and in the James Bond movie, what was it? Not this. It was Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, and then For Your Eyes Only. Uh, HBO would have made a movie about called The Cutting Edge. Hello, boing, Dr. Nova, bringing the humor. Um, yeah, I mean Moira Kelly. Yeah, she's almost in like that Ginny Wright mode where she's not pretty, but she's really cute. Who did one episode? Moira Kelly. So I'm trying to think. Youngblood's it's a funny hockey movie. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened. I think she got a disease or something and quit acting. I'm not really remembering. That's another one probably Hollywood chewed up. Probably the second she got a wrinkle, it was like, all right, Len, thanks. You're not like the young hot blonde anymore. We're gonna go with I don't know, the girl that was in Making the Grade, that really pretty blonde, and then she didn't last very long, and then it was the girl from Summer School, who was in that, Courtney Thorne Smith, and then, I mean, it's brutal to be a woman in Hollywood, especially, yeah, Joanna Lee was hot, a vixen, and then, but she didn't really last very long in the business, and then it was just a constant revolving door of the new I mean, Amy Dolenz was, she was in Can't Buy Me Love for a little bit, but like, she was hot. I mean, she was so hot that she got that. What was it? Was it She's All That? No, She's Out of Control. Where she was like the new it girl, and then that movie was a bomb, and Hollywood was like, "All right, see you later. We'll get the new, another girl in here." And yeah, Tony Danza's the dad. I mean, I remember that was kind of right around Can't Buy Me Love. And I look at Amanda Peterson, like, I mean, that's a girl who you talk about the business chewed up. I mean, she was super fucking talented. I mean, if you watch Can't Buy Me Love, that the movie's actually really well acted by Patrick Dempsey as the fucking nerd, and Amanda, like you could tell there was a depth to her. And then she did that one movie about, I think Moira Kelly was in it with Roy Scheider, where they were and Tim Quill. That's another dude who kind of the business somewhat chewed him up. He played Al Lombard's son in Miami Vice, which was a weird. If you are, but let's finish up with Amanda Peterson. Like, that movie about Harvard and the debate team, and and then Amanda Peterson just quit the business, moved to Colorado, and died of a drug overdose. Um, just I mean, she was so fucking talented, like very Jenny Wright-ish. Like, we're okay. This girl's not just pretty. And then, of course, in Can't Buy Me Love, you had Court McCowan as Quint, a Comedy Store paid regular Court McCowan. Um, but Tim Quill, he played Dennis Farina's son in Miami Vice, which was weird because I think in uh, season 1 or 2, the Cuban actor or the Mexican actor from New York Undercover played Dennis Farina's son, and they never really addressed the change. By the way, that guy, it was the Mexican guy from New York Undercover. Um, what was his name? Fuck. He was also in the Michael Jackson video "Beat It." Yes, Lorenz what was his name? William, what's his full name? Mike, yes, I mean, he was in, if you watch the end of the Beat It video, he is over Michael Jackson's right shoulder, so he might have had a dance background, if you need to I do, Doctor Nova. Start sucking, baby doll. Um, yeah, I could see Peterson, being sexually assaulted. It's just too bad, I mean, I hate that shit happening to anybody, obviously, but, I just when you watch Can't Buy Me Love and that movie about Harvard, the debate team, and you just see the talent there and, like, just the business. Like, I've known so many people who, because I'm LA, I was at the clubs, I'd see all these actors and actresses, and, you could just see them the second they got a little older, man. They got chewed up by this fucking business. I see it in comedy almost every night. I see, I mean, look at Matt Rife. They're already looking for the new Matt Rife. I mean, the guy's been on top of the world for just about a year or so, and they're already looking to replace the kid. Um, yeah, Dennis Farina. He played Al Lombard on Miami Vice in several episodes. And Michael D. Lorenza played his son in the first go through, and then Tim Quill played his son in the last episode that Lombard appeared in. So it was just like, and it was never really addressed. Like, it was just weird that they would go from was he Cuban or Mexican? De Lorenza, Italian, I guess maybe. De Lorenza, and then they go from that to Tim Quill, who was a pretty like, I guess you'd call him very Caucasian. Um, so yes, get on a plane, Doctor Nova. You can stay on my couch. Yeah, I mean, no one was as good as Robert Stack. I mean, Dennis Farina was like, Corolla taking over for, Stern. It was, I mean, Corolla's great, but he just wasn't Stern. Boom, shakalaka. Um, so, I mean, the business is rough. I mean, it's very, very unfair. I mean, like I said before, people who I think should make it won't. They're just not good socially, or they don't have good social media skills, and people who shouldn't make it do. Um, just because they're good ass kissers, and um, well, the great John Santucci was in, I think, the final episode with Lombard, as well as Ned Eisenberg, who was three different characters in Miami Vice. One of the few who I could say they were three different characters. Santucci was he was in the Golden Triangle, which might be my favorite. I believe it's a two-part episode, but that one scene. It's one of my favorite Miami Vice scenes where they bring Santucci in, and he meets Edward James Olmos. They were in the storyline. They were both working for the CIA in Vietnam, and I guess Santucci ratted out Edward James Olmos's crew and got a lot of them killed. And it's just such a great scene where Olmos was like, "Who ratted my crew out?" And Santucci was like, "I did, you son of a bitch." Just Santucci, for someone who was not a actor, was a very, very good actor. I was watching Thief last night, and he wasn't in it a lot, but man, that's a great movie and a great bad guy. Robert Profsky as the bank, Leo. Because he had played like Santa Claus and shit, so you could tell once again. I think my favorite bad guys are the ones that are non-traditional. Like Robert Profsky, you could tell was really sinking his teeth. He shaved his trademark beard, and the scary thing is he was only 51 when Heat was filmed, and he looked about 75. So Well, hook it up, Dr. Nova. I mean, I do these streams for free. I don't shill for money. I don't do overtimes and hitting goals. Start sucking hog so I can get some money, honey. I saw Ned Eisenberg in Death of a Salesman in 1990. He killed it, man. He was a great actor. You never really hear his name when you hear of great character actors of the 80s and 90s, but he really super talented. Rest in peace. I think the last couple years he would be like the shady lawyer on Law and Order. When a bad guy needed representation. So we'll go a few more minutes, guys. I'm starting to fade, to be completely honest with you, but this has been a fun early hump day. I mean, the numbers are about the same. So yeah, no, I went to sleep for about 6 or 7 hours. And I just woke up and, to be honest with you, couldn't go back to bed. So, here we are. Um, I'll take Lois for a nice walk. Maybe go back to bed for a second. Take yoga at 4:30, and then voila. And then we'll do a stream tomorrow at some point. And we got some shorts out there on the YouTubey. And then, like I said, I'll be at the Comedy Store Saturday night. The Comedy Store's closed for Halloween, so I may venture down to the Improv tomorrow night for their Halloween party. And who knows? I might do a live stream at the. It's not a gay parade, but tomorrow from. If you're familiar with the LA area, or if not, Google this from say Doheny to La Cienega on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's about literally a 500,000 people, all in costume. And it's pretty wild, some of the costumes and whatnot that I see. So maybe I'll do a live stream tomorrow, a mobile live stream. We'll do some kind of a stream. And, and then, we'll see where this streaming world takes me. And I appreciate you guys. You guys are Earl soldiers. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've done research in terms of what the best way to get new subscribers. I mean, I've seen to have peaked. I think I'm at a shade under 2,600 subscribers. I've added, I think, within the last year, about 1,000 subscribers. So from 1,500 to 2,500. Not bad, not great. And I realize how I'm doing it is going to take a lot longer. I'm sure if I got involved in the dabble world and was roasting everyone and stream sniping, I'd probably have 10,000 subscribers with my roasting capability. But I'm not interested in that. And like William said, I don't have giant tits. So I'm not going to be able to capitalize from a sexual perspective. And thank you, William Zoom, for being the moderator today. And, hit the like button on your way out. Um, yeah, I mean, I think once we get rolling in here, and I mean, listen, Jordan the Lion, my friend, who you guys all know, I mean, he literally for a long time had less subscribers than I did. He hovered around 1,000 to 1,500 for years. And then his consistency just bowled over people, and he's got I think close to like 400,000 subscribers. But he does really elaborate video with music, and everything is just like the it's perfectly edited. It's time consuming. I mean, he'll travel to do his streams. I'm not quite there yet. I like the background of my streams. I like just having an open forum and we just kind of fuck around in here. I mean, Jordan's videos are very good. I mean, he will have 1 million subscribers one day. And when he does like live streams, he makes like 400 to $1,000, like, because people wanna support him because he's so fucking likable. Yeah, his research is, and he'll drop in facts about, like when he did the, video about the Tropicana in Vegas. I mean, he had, like, pictures and video, and, that's just way beyond my, um, capabilities. Like, I can barely start this stream without, having a problem, but I am trying to do at least one short a day, and one, for now, one stream a day, and hopefully that cracks the algorithm. And then, if I could get on like that guy Mayton's, I got to start getting on bigger podcasts to plug the channels. And, Jesse Lee Peterson didn't really help me that much, which was kind of surprising because I think his YouTube page has like a 500,000 subscribers. The Fallen State, which is his show page, has about a 500,000 subscribers. Now you got to figure there's some carryover between the two pages, but that's 1,000,000 subscribers. And I think on Instagram, I maybe got 10 followers from it, and uh, on YouTube, not many subscribers from that particular show. So that was a little shocking, because you figure you get 1%. So if you go on someone's podcast who has 1,000,000 subscribers, you'll pick off 1% of their subscribers. So we'll figure it out. Um, oh, swimming is a great exercise. Like, you look at most Olympic swimmers. I mean, look at Michael Phelps. He probably doesn't lift weights at all, but he's got a very lean, muscular body. I remember the Michael Phelps in the '80s. What was his name? Steve Lundquist. I believe that was his name. Because he somehow he ended up at my parents' house in Bel Air, and he swam in our pool, and like he had like a body like Orlando Woolridge, just super lean and muscular. Um, well, if you're looking to just drop weight, hot yoga is really amazing. I mean, you lose a lot of water weight, which that's the first thing you put back on. But like, I mean, when I in 2017 started taking hot yoga, I mean, I dropped probably 30 pounds, and I wasn't even trying to. I mean, I looked almost anorexic, so I've figured out the balance there. So yes, you don't really see fat swimmers anymore. Every now and then you'll see someone who's a little overweight in hot yoga, but they're almost like fat in shape, if that makes any sense. Um, like they're what if you saw them on the street, you go, oh, they're overweight, but you see them in yoga and they're flexible, and it's pretty. Yeah, I rarely drink sodas anymore. I had a Diet Pepsi the other day, and I was like, this stuff is gross. And it's not great for the teeth. I mean, if you've seen that one video of the guy cleaning his toilet with Diet Coke, that will probably prevent you from ever drinking Diet Coke again. Uh, so, well, yeah, I mean, short people have great bench presses. Well, every now and then I'll have a soda when I don't want to drink an energy drink, but I want a little buzz from the caffeine. We'll go for one more minute, guys. I'm going to put the arrow on the end stream button. So get those last minute questions in before you might not see me till tomorrow night in West Hollywood on the streets, babies, at the annual West Hollywood Halloween parade. Um, I mean, it really also depends in terms of weight loss. It's a hacky saying, but it's garbage in, garbage out. You can eat Snickers bars and get bone thin if you burn the calories. Um, and yeah, I mean, sugar's horrible, but I think if you're fairly active, it's not that bad because, like I said, it's the first thing you burn off. Now, you could say, well, if you don't have any sugar, then the first thing you'll burn off is fat, and that's true too. So, All right, we got 15 seconds, guys, before thank you to all the Earlomaniacs, Dr. Nob on the ones and twos, uh, William Zoom for being the elite moderator that he is. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Halloween stream, Earlverse edition.